What is it like being married to a Jamaican? Hi, I'm Xavier Murphy, the founder of Jamaicans.com. And today I talk to Baptista and Jacqueline Dos Santos. Baptista is from Cape Verde and Jackie is from Jamaica. Hey guys, how are you?
Hi,
Hello,
Xavier.
how are you
Good.
doing? Doing well?
Let's start out with telling us a little bit about your background, a little bit about Cape Verde, a little bit about the Jamaica you grew up in, and give us an idea of that.
Well, let me start first. Uh, Cape Verde is a group of islands, 10 islands in by west coast of Africa. It's about 500 miles from Africa, across from Senegal. We are very diverse country because we have mix of Europeans, Africans. Each island is actually very different from each other. Some islands of the has more European culture, and others have more African culture. We have islands very with a lot of mountains. We have a volcano that is still active. We have islands that are very flat with the black sand, islands with the white sand. Um, each island is different. It's a very beautiful country, and tourism is the main economy money cow, put that way.
All right. Anything else on your background? I know you all live in the north, in the cold up north.
Yes, it is very cold now. Still.
Well,
Well, not too much. It's in the
yeah.
50s.
Okay. And Jackie, your background?
My background, I am Jamaican, born and grew up in Jamaica, in Kingston, and but lived a very, I should say, sheltered life. So we don't speak too much patois, and yeah, my parent,
All
my
right.
my parents are here. They live in Florida, and
Okay.
I'm a twin.
Okay.
So
All right. And you're both repping. Let me
yes,
see that hat. Let me see the hats there. Give it a close up there, Baptista, of the hat. That's a flag.
There's a
Yep.
there's a
All right.
flag
That's a
right
flag.
here.
And Jackie, you're well representing there, representing
yes,
the
I
flag. All
am.
right. So tell us your love story. How did you first meet? What was the first date? And what drew you to each other? I know that's kind of a three-part question. And if you don't remember it, just let me know.
Yeah.
Want to start?
Well, yes. Let me go first because more likely that mine is not even the truth.
I'll make it up. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Well, listen. I came here for college, right? I went to this college called Ferry Dickinson when I was there for a few years, and just before she got there. But after I graduated, I stayed living in town. So I would go to college sometimes to meet friends there too, and then play soccer and so on. And one day I met her there. We were a group of friends talking, and she showed up over there. We're talking, and there's actually some African friends from
Yeah.
Ivory Coast. And it turns out that that same day I met her, this friend had a house party at night. So I went to his party, and then she was there again.
I showed up.
So we start talking, and I saw something about her that she sounds very nice, very friendly, and very trustworthy kind of person. I thought maybe as a person I could continue having a conversation, and things progressed from that on. And I always call her and try to find out how she was doing. And sometimes she told me she was struggling with her studies in school. I would send her flowers with notes. Good luck in your test, and keep it on, keep doing things like that. We keep talking, and things grow up from that point on.
Okay. Um, Miss Jackie, I think you tell us about that first date. But hold on. How you show up at this party with a man there now? What happened? You got invited or you heard he was going there?
No, it was a mutual friend.
Yes.
I was actually coming out of the dorm, and going to visit some other friends. And he and I'm just going to mention his name, Eugene, was standing up outside. And I stopped to talk to them, and then Eugene was like, "Oh, I'm having a party at the house tonight. You might want to stop by." And I was like, "All right, I'll see you later." And I went on my way.
All right. So that first date, Jackie, and then what drew you to Baptista?
Our first date, our first date was well, I I was always going to the club. So Eugene and Batista showed up at the club, and I went with some other friends. And that's where we started. Batista and I
Mhm.
started talking and getting to know each other and dancing. Um, so that was kind of our first date. It wasn't necessarily a date with dinner and movies and all that stuff.
All right. Uh, oh,
We
go
had,
ahead,
we had a,
Baptista.
yeah, we had a few mutual friends, and
Yeah.
that she liked to go to the nightclub, and all those friends from the islands also like to go to nightclub. From some from Antigua, they're from Africa, and so going to nightclubs on almost like every Thursday that allow us to talk more often and get closer to each other.
Yeah.
And
College night. Thursday typically is college night.
Yes.
So, what would you say is your favorite thing about each other? So, Jackie, your favorite thing about Baptista. Baptista, your favorite thing about Jackie.
I'll go first. So my favorite thing about Batista is that he's very caring. Um, he's loving. He's very family oriented,
All right.
and yeah,
You got 3 points there.
yeah, I mean, I think we share a few of those points. Like I said earlier, one of the things that actually attached me to her from the very beginning is I've seen the personality there that was very nice and friendly, and trustworthy, and somebody I could talk to, I can believe it, and that worth it to talk and move forward with the relationship. Yeah, she's she cares a lot too, and sometimes I but but again, I think we actually I mean the reason we've been together for this long is because we share a lot of this kind of attribute in common,
I
you
think
know.
I also think that one of the things that drew us together is that it was easy for us to
Yeah,
talk with each other, because I could tell him anything and he would always tell me anything, you know, as
yeah,
far as whatever was happening in our life. It was
yeah,
easy
Okay.
to mention and to say.
indeed, yeah.
So, cultural differences, has it played a major role, minor role in your relationship?
For us, I think it was a minor role. And the reason why I say that is because the Portuguese culture and Jamaican culture are
Mhm.
very similar. We take care
Yeah,
of our um, of our elderly, our parents, our siblings.
hmm,
We spend a lot of time together. Even though
hmm,
Batista has 11 brothers and sisters, and they're all over the world,
yeah.
so he calls them every weekend. You know,
Wow.
and I speak to my siblings all the time.
Okay. So, um, let's talk. And I don't know, Baptista, did you have anything to add in terms of the cultural differences?
No, honestly, I never saw that much difference. Um, I guess because we're from islands, there's a lot of things in common. And there's some influence of her culture in mine already from the beginning. For example, the music, um, the food was very similar. So I didn't see much inside. In fact, I believe the fact that a lot of things are very similar that works in our favor to to live as long as we are together without any problem.
Talk about the music for me. You open the door there. Music, reggae music in Cape Verde.
Whoa, I grew up with that. I mean, really, in my teenager years in the high school, reggae was the most that's music people listen to the most. In fact, it was in English, it was in Portuguese, it was in Creole, all different languages. Everybody tried to sing reggae. Um, so the influence of the Jamaican music was in everybody's house when I grew up with.
Nice,
So
nice.
I did when I came here. That's
So,
what I knew.
have you all ever come up on a point? And I know you guys have been married how many years now? I don't want to mess it up.
Oh, 30 years. They're going to be 31 in June.
Oh
July,
man, oh
June. You're right.
man.
June. You're right.
she,
June.
she
Is it you see?
No, no, but there was a.
You thought
This
I was
is
going to say it's June.
Yes.
Say a different.
as any point, during the marriage, you've had some minor, it could be major cultural misunderstandings that are based on how maybe in Cape Verde we do things culturally kind of this way, or we say something this way, or our mannerisms are like this. Same thing in Jamaica, we do it. Any of those that you remember? Because you're so far now, you probably won't remember.
No, I mean, not really. I mean, I think the meaning of things, the expressions, the words they use, for example, make perhaps was the most difference I seen. I mean, maybe I'm jumping here because I think this is my coming up later. But when I first heard the term from her, like soon come and things like that, I thought she was on her way, or I mean, I was ready to her to come, and then hours later she's still not there. So it takes me a while to get used to that. And
I don't do it
in
anymore.
the beginning, and honestly, in the beginning, I thought I did not understand that was a Jamaican thing. I thought it was her being the way being herself. But then I find out that's what it doesn't really mean. Hey, I'm on my way. I'm on my way
Soon come could mean
tomorrow.
2 hours, and it could mean tomorrow or,
Yeah,
or next week.
yeah.
Jackie, what about you? Was there anything on Baptista's side that misunderstanding, or you kind of had to get used to?
I don't think it was a misunderstanding or anything. The things that I had to get used to was the language first. You know, he speaks Portuguese and Creole
In the accent.
and the accent,
Mhm.
and trying to figure out if when he's speaking his language, if he's upset or not, because it sounds, it's a very,
Passionate,
I don't want to,
passionate.
yes, there you go, a very passionate language when he's speaking, and even with his friends. So sometimes when he's speaking to me, I feel that he's being passionate, and I'm like, no, man, don't talk to me like that,
Mm.
you know. But he's not being mean or anything like that. It's just his way of speaking.
Okay, all right.
Well, that's actually something I try to work on because her and her mother always tell me that every time I'm talking, if I'm so passionate about talking about something, I sound like I'm angry. I talk, but I'm not angry. It's just the way it
It's
is.
just a,
That's the way I say it, but not. So I have to tell them I'm not angry.
yeah.
Yeah, I know sometimes there's Jamaicans to that too. We are with our hands, and get really passionate, especially sports, politics, and some other things. We will dig in.
Yes,
We'll dig in.
we're forbidden to talk politics in this house.
Mhm.
Forbidden.
So, food. Baptista, what was your first impression of Jamaican food, and what's your favorite dish?
But my favorite Jamaican food is oxtail.
Okay.
But I also I like a lot the snapper fish. But I can tell you that Jamaican food did not really surprise me a lot because they are a lot similar to ours. Different seasoning. You guys are much heavier on spicy. For example,
Scotch bonnet pepper.
just sauce and things like that. But as far as the ingredients like potatoes, yam, and all these things,
Bananas.
all the same as in Cape Verde, different seasoning.
All right.
But I like oxtail. I like snapper fish. I love
Peanut porridge.
peanut porridge, and I eat pate almost every day.
Yes, he does.
Wow.
You
Okay.
know how when we were in school, we used to have patty and a
Right.
box juice.
Right.
Yeah,
We
Peanut
used to have a
porridge
patty and a juice
that's what I
and
have.
juice. Oh, patty and a
That's
juice too.
for lunch.
that's my lunch. That's my lunch almost every day.
Wow. And we're okay. Let me not get into where you get your patties, but we're passionate. We can have a whole conversation on patties. That's another topic. All right.
That's another topic.
So Jackie, what was your first experience tasting food from Cape Verde, and do you have a dish that you enjoyed and like?
Yes. So my first impression was we had gone to a Cape Verdean cultural club in Connecticut, and they had a huge dinner. And when I went to the dinner, they had, yeah, of course, all these Cape Verdean foods. They had cachupa, they had
Moj.
moj, and
Okay,
I love
you got to tell us, if you tell us a little
Yeah.
bit of what is kachupa
cachupa.
and what is moch. What are they?
Cachupa is first it's a stew, and then they have like
Or,
corn and yam, banana,
yeah, veggies.
vegetables.
Yeah.
It's a mixture of a
Fish.
lot of things. It could have fish in there.
Mhm.
The one we make usually have chicken or beef
Or
or
pork.
pork,
Yeah.
and mudge. That's the
Moj.
that's the one with
Yeah.
the
Moj is traditionally made with goat.
goat.
Yeah. It's a soup.
But for us, it's like
It's like
soup.
soup.
Mudge
Yeah.
is like soup.
Is it
Yeah.
like
But the
manish?
cachupa,
Is it like manish water?
no.
Okay. I'm hearing goat, and our goat soup is manish water, so that's why you know.
Yeah.
But the cachupa they have it as a stew for dinner, and then in the morning they would fry it with like Portuguese sausage or kielbasi, and it I love that.
Tho- those are the pictures I sent you.
Okay. All right.
Of
Good. Good. So
and then the mudge is like is a soup, and it has of course goat or and banana of course, and is that the one with the rice?
no, no
Okay,
rice for that's yeah that's cashew.
ganja.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of dishes that I
Yeah.
like. It's quite hard for me to find something that I really don't like. So I eat a lot of the Cape Verdean food
Mhm.
when I go to visit his niece in Connecticut because she cooks
Mhm.
most of it.
nice, nice.
Yeah.
So, is there a Jamaican tradition, Batista, that you realize that you have embraced over these years? And the same question is going to come to you, Jackie. So I'll start with Baptista first. Maybe it's something you find yourself saying all the time, or maybe something you do that you learn from Jackie.
As far as expression,
You,
this listen. I don't know. I should say fortunately or unfortunately. I really do not live. We do not live like in a Jamaican community or close to a lot of Jamaicans. So therefore, a lot of this Jamaican culture, we didn't really, I did not experience them. And she doesn't seem to much. She doesn't show much of them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't speak a lot of patois
exactly.
or
So I know I say a lot of Yaman. That's something that comes in my conversation frequently. And I like to say "soon come now" because I know what it means, and it sounds funny to me. Yeah,
And used to say wagwan,
yeah, go on. Yeah, go on.
wagwan.
Yeah. So I try to say those things, but I really wish I was more involved with Jamaican culture, so I can learn those things because I love language and like to know things, but unfortunately, it's the nature of where we are.
Right,
The
right.
environment.
Yeah,
No strong community around where you are, I guess.
No,
And so, your teacher is Jackie.
which is not good.
and she does not much. Yeah, yeah. So what
I embrace, I embrace it when I go to Florida.
yeah.
Kingston 21, South Florida. So, Jackie, is there anything from Baptista's culture that you found yourself embracing and maybe do it occasionally?
So I'm going to talk about. So there's in Cape Verde they have a lot. They get together a lot, and they have music, and everybody dances. The older folks, are there as well. Our parents and grandparents and siblings and everybody. So when they get together, I remember the first time I went to the Cape Verdean club. I saw women dancing with women, the old dancing with the young. And I'm like, whoa. I look at Batista and go, this is different. And then, but come to find out that it's something that they always do. There's nothing derogatory or any bad meaning towards
Mhm.
it. It's just their culture. They dance with each other, the women dance with women, and it's fine.
No men with men though.
But no men would.
And in some cultures that happen.
Just to make it
I gotta
clear.
make it clear.
But it
Yeah,
was it was it was different for me to see that
yeah.
because it happened a lot.
It's very common.
And then after going there so many times, I also do that.
Yeah,
So with friends that I have there in Connecticut, I will go and I'll say, "Come on, let's go and dance," and we just pull each other up on
yeah.
the dance floor and just dance with each other.
All right. You kind of took the thunder away from my next question, which was have you been to Cape Verde? But obviously you have. And
Well, not obviously, because I was talking about the Cape Verdean Club right here in Connecticut.
oh, so have you been to Cape Verde?
I have. I have. Okay, so I've been to Cape Verde twice. My first experience of Cape Verde was when I got there. It was as if it was being discovered. I know he doesn't like me to say this stuff, but it was just as if it was just discovered. Um, the houses were not painted. Um, a lot of the roads were cobblestone, and yeah. But then the second time when I went, it was much different. And I think it was what, 10 years or 5 years after? 10
More.
years. It was probably
No,
10
no, no.
years,
20 years after.
20 years after
Yeah,
the first, 20 years after I went back.
that was
And
1999.
yeah, and I was like, "Oh, this is different. The
Yeah,
houses are painted, roads are
New
paved. Some
discovery.
are still, yeah,
yeah,
some are still cobblestone,
yeah.
and but I felt very safe. I got on my second time I got on the bus, and I took the bus wherever it went. I was by myself, and I went
Mhm.
wherever the bus went and came back. And yeah, and I didn't have a problem walking in the town or walking anywhere, no matter what time it was, even midnight. So it felt very safe. Would in the morning I'd get up and I'd go with his sister-in-law to the market. So we'd go to the market in the morning,
Mhm.
buy whatever she's going to be cooking that day, and then come back home. Sometimes we'll take the taxi or we'd walk but in Cape Verde they do a lot of walking. Not much on the taxis and stuff like that. They walk a lot.
Let me ask you this, Baptista. Is there a experience or something you told Jackie about Cape Verde that you wanted her to experience? And did she or did she not experience it?
I know.
Well, she doesn't know Cape Verde yet. Let's make it clear. Cape Verde is 10
Make it
islands.
clear.
10 islands, 10 islands.
I know one island.
10 islands, very diverse. And so, a very brief history. Cape Verde was discovered by Portugal. And Portugal, for 500 years, were there. And they did not develop the country well. After it became free in 1975, that's when the country started developing. When she went in 1999, it wasn't that process developing. If you go now, is completely different. She knows that. So, but she has not gone to my island, for instance, as an opportunity. She has not got a chance to. I hope one day she will. And in many other islands that all different, well developed. Tourism is very big, so it's a different country nowadays than it were 1999 when she went to.
Oh, what you
Okay.
want me to? What you want me to visit?
So the plan is one day to visit the other islands.
Can I
The
tell you what I want to go and see?
Yes.
I want to go and see that white sand, the salt. They have a beach where it's so salty that you will float.
Yeah.
So I'd love to go and see that. I'd love to go and see the volcano on Fogo. So
All right. So you have two things on the bucket list that you need to
yes.
get to. So I'm going to flip the question now. And, Baptista, have you been to Jamaica? And Jackie, was there something you wanted him to experience in Jamaica that he did? But first, Baptista, you tell us about if you've been and what was the experience for you.
Well, I went to Jamaica, and actually I took her to Jamaica. By the way, she didn't take me to Jamaica. You know, we married for 20 years. After 20 years, a friend of mine I know from soccer, she was getting married in Jamaica. She invited us, so I took her with me. So she did. I took her to Jamaica. But 20 years after, so but I liked it. I mean, I wanted to see all I wanted to see there that I knew is I wanted to see anything related to Bob Marley.
And that we
That was all my requirement, plus anything else that she knew that was necessary. It was nice for me to see. But I did Bob Marley Museum,
Jimmy Cliff,
the 9 months,
9 miles,
9 months, and Peter Tosh
Peter
Museum.
Tosh Museum.
Those are things I told her that I wanted to, and then anything else I want her to recommend for me. And we did all that.
Yeah.
Nice.
We were,
And we went rafting.
yeah,
We went to a lot of the waterfalls in Jamaica, like three of them.
yeah.
So I think we covered a lot. We went to Smokyville and saw the house that I grew up in.
Oh
You know,
wow! You got the
so
you got full experience. You got Kingston and
yeah,
Ochi and Montego
Gucci,
Bay, and it's all like you got the
all-
full thing there. Baptista, so like you
Yeah,
got a good visit.
I wanted to take
indeed.
him. I wanted to take him to the downtown where the market,
Yeah.
but I don't
Carnation,
even know if I still have it. But
I
Carnation
went to
Market.
Spanish Town.
yeah, the market where everybody put down their stuff on the ground, and you have to walk around and
Yes,
see
Carnation
what you want.
Market. Carnation.
Carnation Market, but I didn't get to do that.
Yeah.
Next time, sir. Next time.
Next time.
I need to add this. The most interesting thing I liked is we drove from Ocho Rios to Kingston.
Oh,
That was a trip. The roads, I mean, like
the winding
the
roads.
winding, man. I was nauseous. But
Oh,
then I was very impressed. The amount of mango trees that I passed
wait,
through.
wait, wait, wait. Let me tell you about that one. On our drive back from Ocho Rios to Kingston, Batista, he was feeling nauseous, but all I heard from the side of me is, stop the car, stop. And I'm like, what happened? I stop the car and my man jump out and go and pick up the mangoes off the ground, the roadside, and take them. And we took them home and we had mango for breakfast, mango juice all day long. We had mango.
Wow. What type of mango
Listen,
are you didn't are you don't get you don't
No
educate me
idea.
yet? You have educated Baptista on the type of mangoes and how Jamaicans are very particular about some
well,
mangoes.
we listen. We have mangoes, but nothing close to Jamaican, and we don't have a lot of kinds of
Jesus.
mangoes like you have. Uh, so I never seen. I mean, I never seen that many mangoes on the street, and nobody cares about it. You know, so I was very surprised. You know, it was
uh,
the mango that I like the most is the one that you can cut like an egg.
oh, the Bombay,
Bombay.
Yeah,
the Bombay mango. Yes,
yeah,
yes.
I
That's
love that one.
that is what we call one of our pedigreed mangoes.
Yeah.
So I want to talk a little bit about your families. How have your families embraced, the different cultures? When you get together and both families kind of mix, do you do a mixture of, how do you all navigate that?
Yeah.
So I think that when our families get together, we do have a mixture of everything, a mixture of the music, a mixture of the food, um, because we have the cachupa, we have the curry, the oxtail or the
Hmm.
curry goat, and the plantains, of course.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
in the morning, we'll have the fried cachupa and we'll have ackee and saltfish.
Hmm.
So we do have a mixture of cultures whenever we're all together. During the pandemic, we had, of course, we were outside most of the time and we had, we played our calypso and our reggae music and our Cape Verdean music. So we do have a mixture when the families are both together.
Okay, all right. Um, Baptista, if there's one Jamaican skill that you say I want to master, what would
Hmm.
that be?
Well, I like languages. So therefore, I definitely would like to learn patois. You know, um, and I
Can you
will,
imagine Batista speaking patois?
yeah. So,
See, he's laughing.
yeah. I mean, for a few things I hear, it sounds very interesting. So I
It is
really like
interesting.
to, and I think if I was in Florida around Jamaicans, I'm sure by now, 30 years later, I knew a few something more than just Sunkam. You know, but
Yes.
she doesn't know more than I do. So
Jackie, what?
another thing,
Oh, go ahead.
one thing I would like to know, I would like to learn also, is dance hall music like Jamaicans.
No.
I'm okay. I'm okay with calypso. I'm alright with calypso. If calypso is Jamaican, because some Jamaican don't think calypso is Jamaican, but dance hall, I would love to dance that.
All right,
Good.
Jackie, what skill, Cape Verde skill that you want to master?
I also like their dancing.
Kazumba, yeah.
Kazumba is one of the dances that they do, and I think it's beautiful. So I would love to do that.
Yeah, the steps are nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so we come to a little fun here. Let's get to know you all just a little bit better. So we have a pointing game, and what you're gonna do is I'm gonna do a rapid fire of questions, and you're gonna point at the person who you think this is, and it could be you. All right. So here is the
Mhm.
first question: Who initiated the first kiss? Who is book smart? Who is street smart?
Mm,
Who is most likely to lose their mobile phone?
Never know where it is.
Who is the most stubborn? All right. Who is the disciplinarian? Who is the social butterfly?
mm,
Who spends the most money? And then lastly, who is most likely to be watching a sad movie?
mm.
Well, listen, guys, thank you so much for giving us some insight on your marriage, telling us your story. Here's my final question to you. What advice would you give a couple or couples navigating cultural differences in their relationship?
Hmm.
What else?
You want me to
Yeah.
start?
Go
I think communication is key. They need to actually really, if they're really interested in someone from a different culture, they have to actually get to know someone, get to know their culture, know their family, know how they react to certain things, and know what they're about. Do a deep dive into their culture.
Mhm.
Um, Being able to communicate with each other and ensure that each one is being heard, and yeah, so that you avoid those misunderstandings if you're not communicating well. So I think that for me those are the main things.
I share the same. If you have to understand each other's what they things mean, a lot of things have different meanings. Not just the words, but also the behavior. If you don't know each other very well, you might act the certain way that in our culture might seem to be not a big deal. Somebody else might take it disrespectful, and so it might create a problem. But if you know each other, you would explain things. You know what how everybody behave, then you can really understand those things without a problem. Sometimes it might be a situation you can just laugh about it, but sometimes in a situation that can be in a heated argument, it can be a problem. So it's very important for you to know it, to know how each other's react to what each other means, and not to forget to ask to explain things also, because if person doesn't explain, you make your own meaning of it, then you might
Might
more
be wrong.
likely you might be wrong. So ask what you mean. Can you please explain? Give the person opportunity to explain is very, very important.
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. So here is how I'm ending this. So Jackie, you've been to Cape Verde, you should know enough now.
Oh
And
boy.
and Baptista, you've been to Jamaica. You should know a little bit, at least some greetings and goodbyes, in Jamaican. So Jackie, how do you say goodbye? How the Cape Verdeans? Am I saying it right? Cape Verdeans?
Yes.
Yes.
How do the Cape Verdeans say goodbye? And Baptista, how do the Jamaicans say goodbye?
Say, the Cape Verdean say goodbye. They just say ciao.
Okay.
The Jamaica say,
Little more.
lick more, lick more,
All right.
lick more, lick more.
So thank you guys. And so we'll do both. Lick more
Lick
and,
more.
and
Ciao.
ciao.
Ciao. Lick more.